Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Do you like this rake? It was given to me. Just kidding. I found it over here one day somewhere. I can't remember if it was this fence or this fence. I'm thinking maybe this fence. I think it was behind the organics one day. It stayed there for a while. So I said, you know what, this rake, we need a bit of feng shui from behind the organics. We're going to put this rake right here. And it has stayed put ever since. Got a rake, a free rake. Anyway, good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Friday. Another day, another dollar. Here I am. It's a rather cloudy morning. It's around 7 a.m. 7:04 a.m. here in San Antonio, Texas, Central Standard Time. Let's fence here. Been a little bit. Hello, fence. Anyway, how y'all doing? You don't even want to know. Okay. Absolutely ridiculous. Speaking of which, though, I am happy to report. Yesterday, me and my sister Tracy, we went shopping. My mom gave me $20, and while she had several appointments, and we had planned to go shopping to Ingram Mall and then to North Star Mall, and she said, "Why don't y'all have a coffee on me?" And we were like, "Yes." So got a coffee. But anyway, I am pleased to report that usually in these past 5 years, after January 6th, when I say January 6th, your mind automatically goes to 2021, right? I'm just wondering. I assume, but I don't know. It is November 2025. I don't know. Anyway, I'm pleased to report. Me and Tracy, we went to 2 different shopping malls, and it was nice. At 0 moments in time did I ever feel the need to be like, wow, it's really crowded in here, or maybe I should just go on Twitter and tweet something. 0 moments in time. I even used the restroom, and that's usually a hot spot, a hotbed for situations and issues, and just like flagrant. If it was a football game, it would be like the referee would have flown the foul, the yellow flag, whistle, 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 all these yellow flags. Nothing happened. I think there was like 2 people there, aside from myself. I cannot believe this. I've had an absolutely pleasant experience in a public restroom. Write that down, Michelle. November 2025. But anyway, it was just a nice time. I didn't feel everybody was just normal. I didn't feel like anybody was overtly demanding anything of me, whether it be and usually most of the time, I mean, y'all watched my videos, but as far as being in civil society in a public space, shared space, a lot of demanding of things from me, which I think is wildly inappropriate, considering that I've never been filmed, because I've never signed a contract. Anyway, so I've had a really, me and Tracy had a really pleasant time walking around. Christmas decorated malls in Ingram and North Star Mall here in San Antonio, Texas. Um, and you know what I noticed a trend here for these malls? I don't know how malls are doing. I've seen a lot of kind of rearranging with the shops that are there. And I've seen this trend of this kind of like this arcade space in malls. Like, what? It started with North Star Mall. And then there was a new arcade space in Ingram Mall, which I think looked a bit cooler than the one from North Star Mall. But it's like arcade. The one on Ingram is the arcade. There's like a bowling alley. There's like air hockey. There's all these games. There's a bar right in the middle. I told Tracy, I said, you know, if I were still going out, I would go to this arcade in the middle of this mall. At first I was opposed to it. Why are they putting this in a mall? But apparently it seems to be a trend. So, you know, I guess it's not so bad. Anyway, very pleasant time. No unusual demands, no, I have to be extra polite and courteous, because, I don't know. You know, nobody recognized me. At least nobody said they did. But happy to report, things have kind of gone back to normal, like how I've lived my life before January 6th, 2021. This is nice. Kind of like I've had, you know, sometimes when you're out and about and then you get sick, you're like a cold or something, and you're just kind of fussy about it. You're like, I hate having this stuff nose. I hate having to do all this stuff. I really was not grateful for all the times I was healthy. It's been really nice. It's getting back to normal. It's the little things in life sometimes, you know? Anyway, that's what's going on with me. And it was two different malls. So, okay, we went to Ingram and then we left. We were on our way to North Star, and I said, you know, I'm just gonna have to mentally prepare myself to be bombarded. It never happened. I said, what? There's little things here and there, but overall it was very pleasant. Anyway, happy to report that. What else is going on? I saw the congressional approval and then president approval of releasing the Epstein files. I guess I think it's very interesting. So we'll see what happens with that. I guess that should happen before Christmas. The release of the Epstein files, of course, the redactions and stuff to be expected. But still, in the interest of transparency and all of that, I really don't see, that's great. So Epstein files should be, Epstein files, or should we call it something else, or what? I think it is Epstein, right? They focus specifically on him. I don't know about his cohort that's already been sentenced. I forget what she was sentenced for or found guilty of. Ghislaine Maxwell. I wonder if that's going to be released too. Because as far as in the interest of public, I know it's not technically a Freedom of Information Act, but they're often associated with each other in the public. So I wonder if it'll be documents pertaining to both of them or what. Then there's mamdani. I think it's quite boring, but it's because I used to watch Empire Files and stuff like that. The Young Turks and then Empire Files, and so mamdani is nothing new. And knowing what I know now, it's just another tactic, do not respect. But apparently the people in New York voted for him. I was wondering, he kind of reminds me of Ron Nuremberg, the previous mayor of San Antonio. They probably would have liked him. And, as far as all that goes, to continue on, I've watched the Young Turks, I've watched the Empire Files, I've watched this kind of indie alternative news outlets, and what makes them indie and alternative news outlets is their what they choose to cover, I guess, and how they choose to present this news, right? Week Back included, right? The Jimmy Dore Show. And I just think that this Rick is a really new addition. Very important, this Rick. But anyway, I just think it's like a political play. Something that I think I represent here at 9107 is this first of all, this accessibility, right? It's completely unheard of. Not one interview, not one debate, nothing. Not one meet and greet, not one advertisement, nothing. I can't do a Super Bowl commercial. No. Okay. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Where have you seen this before? And so a part of that is definitely this for whatever reason, political party affiliation. Good morning, Jizzy. Why does it matter what my political party affiliation is? It seems an honest question, not a rhetorical one, and it seems just like a way to control people. I think my brand and maybe what I could represent, different things to different people, obviously, but it's political party affiliation, and as a means, I guess, of controlling people, controlling the narrative. You say you have mamdani and he's socialist or communist or whatever, and certainly made those connections going from New York City mayor. I think he was like county commissioner. So I saw on his Instagram he worked alongside Kathy Hochul. Didn't seem to be a problem there. There's as far as I know, there was no kind of like AOC Bernie kind of team, them against everyone else there. So certainly mamdani has a lot of accessibility, which From my personal experience, seems to be quite out of the ordinary, not the average. You have a certain place and structure in society if you, especially if it's your job to be in these political positions, to do so, right? What incentive do certain politicians or people who deal with politicians have to go on the Young Turk show or the Jimmy Dore show or the Empire Files, you know? And why would they want them on their show? In the spirit of debate and public discourse. So anyway, this whole self-identification of things, I think, is really interesting. Going about in your day-to-day life and hearing what people have to say about their views. However, when it gets to like a politician and stuff like that, I am highly critique all of that stuff. Socialist, and how by rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, or maybe that's why he's meeting with Trump. Mamdani says to have all of these socialist programs for society, which I guess another way you can say it is a nonprofit. Well, it is another way you can say it. And just so you know, I think the San Antonio Aquarium is a for-profit aquarium. I think that's what it said on their Wikipedia page. And they have a pickleball court, foam parties, and recently a big screen TV where they actually sell alcohol. It's not that big of a place. Anyway, which is new. When I was a member at the San Antonio Aquarium, before I got kicked out, there was no alcohol sold on the premises. But by all means, do not get me to advertise for it. Completely off brand. But anyway, what I'm getting at is this, I think it's great for the public, and whether you're a voter or not, I don't look down on you if you don't vote. I know people really encourage that, and that means a lot to people, and I'm not here to say it doesn't, but I definitely see the viewpoint of not voting, but still talking about politics. What do they call it? Your civil duty to vote. But if you don't vote and you're here talking about politics, I think you're absolutely fulfilling your civil duty, and when you participate in things like that. But anyway, a lot of the times it's anyway. So what I'm getting at, is Mamdani says nothing about waste, fraud, and abuse, but to increase corporate taxes. And, obviously he's speaking to a certain generation, I think, right? And corporate taxes, who are you talking about? You're talking about Google, you're talking about Amazon, you're talking about SpaceX, Tesla. What other corporations are there? But yeah, I mean, what my argument against that would just to be highly critiqueful of people who have chosen to be politicians, is so the problem is not having enough money. You throw more money at the problem, and that's going to be fine. Problem solved. Well, that's great. Like New York doesn't have enough money. I think, isn't New York one of the highest tax states? So I think it's very interesting. Obviously, New York. I would never have guessed it would have been New York. to have a socialist mayor here in San Antonio. We definitely didn't go the socialist route. He was a Democrat mayor. I think it's very interesting as far as socialists being left-leaning, right? A lot of where I used to get my news from when I used to watch those shows, a lot of them were people who were white. So I think I just think to have to highly critique the political arena. I think is interesting that he is a person of color, because where I get the news from, where I got my news, left-leaning, socialist accepting, affirming news. I don't think there was really a person of color there. So, just to note, he does bring up his race a lot and his religion. And obviously I see it as not rocking the boat too much, right? And obviously I have a Trump. If you can say a lot of things about him, and one of those things I think everybody says about him, a consensus across the board, is that he rocks the boat, right? And as far as socialist programs and all of that, and these political parties, I think Ron DeSantis, or Ron DeMeatball, I like to call him, because he looks like a meatball. You get it? I think he wants to do away with one of his platforms as the Republican governor of Florida, is eliminating property tax. I would not consider myself a socialist. I would not consider myself a communist. But I would say a set standard in our society is public education, grades, what is it, kinder or first grade through 12th grade, high school. You don't have to pay for. It's funded by the government. And if you don't have property taxes, I'm just wondering where that funding is from. So, I guess I think there's a lot to compare there. Two people who are presented to us as obvious opponents, they're bringing these ideas to the political sphere and arena, and I'm just wondering, like, compare and contrasting the two. If you want to be, this is who you're branding yourself as a politician, well, what's the differences there? Because my experience here is there's not a lot of differences. I mean, there's a lot of ways in which you can say things and state things, and the advantage of using separate viewpoints is a way to do that. But what is the end result here? What is the solution here? The same thing, right? So anyway, eliminating property taxes. And then here in Texas, there's this like school voucher thing. I don't know. But yeah, Department of Education is going to get eliminated, and be back to the states, which I don't see as such a bad thing. There's this like tariff checks maybe that might be that the idea has been floating around, has been introduced into the public arena and sphere. You want to see some ducks? So cool, right? Those are ducks. Ducks make that little kind of noise like that. You don't know there's tons of ducks here in San Antonio. That's also how I know they're ducks. And their feet. They're kind of far away, but their feet, when they're flying, you can really see them. Their webbed feet. Anyway. Yeah, corruption in politics, branding yourself. It's one thing, branding yourself in a certain way, and I'm just highly critical, critiqueful of how people are doing that, right? Um, so anyway, I don't think it should. I think fairness is kind of just, an expectation, a societal expectation foundation in society. This kind of fairness, and life isn't fair, and stuff like that. But um, let's do it with property taxes. I don't know if you're from Florida. Does that sound something that's okay for you? You send your kids to a public school, and they're going to eliminate property taxes, and that's fine. That's not an issue. What do y'all think? I mean, I don't live in Florida, obviously, but that is not something that has been proposed here in the state of Texas. And Ron Nirenberg, the previous mayor, did float in his last year as mayor, lowering property taxes. So, and again, I just want to emphasize, you want to be for Trump, you want to be against Trump. I mean, I'm not sure why your arguments wouldn't land if me and him are together. This is something I've repeatedly said. Have your arguments. Oh, why can't we be together? Me and my husband be together. And in addition to that, not one paycheck, not one interview, not nothing. Did I make money? Well, where's it going? My understanding before January 6th was I am getting filmed and there is money, and it's being given to certain charities. Nobody told me that. I couldn't confirm it at the time, and I can't confirm it now. Other than this formerly known and nasty school bus route, to me, 14 car payments just on this end of the back alley. Not to mention, not to exclude all the cars driving by. The one person, the one establishment that said, oh, I follow you on Instagram, I got kicked out of. But, again, glass half full. Me and Chase went to the mall yesterday, and it was like, it was really nice. I didn't feel like I'm stuck at 9107 Wrestlers Creek. You know what I mean? But anyway, me here, who does this help? Who does this help? Shouldn't it, if you really believe in your ideas, I don't know why you wouldn't be proactive with this situation here if you're a politician or whatever, right? This is really bad. I know it's November 2025. It's been like 5 years since January 6th, and before then it's been like 8 years. Who knows how long, right? Y'all have access to the information. I do not. This is really bad. This is bad, 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 bad. The optics are terrible, and it just gets worse from there. Who does this benefit? If you're anti-Trump, what happens to your ideas is you're anti-Trump and you have me like this. This is not good for you. You're going to blame him that I'm here? People are going to look at you a certain way. Well, why are you so against him? Why are you so against this? And even if you're against him, wouldn't it be make you look even better if you're trying to help me? You're saying, no, you're just against his ideas. You are perfectly fine with me and him being together in public. It's hard being apart. it's I really try to be in the best spirit about things, because even though this is a really bad situation I find myself in, I consider myself lucky. So I really try to be very positive about things, but highly critiquing too. Okay, it's not easy to be separate from each other, and it's you know um, it's something that I look forward to talking about. But I don't want to do that here. Things get misconstrued and all that stuff. But anyway, 30 minutes. 7:33 a.m. Yeah, that's what I have to say. Mamdani before Thanksgiving, Epstein files before Christmas. That's my political talk. That's my political discussion today. Um, and Trump, he is never one to shy away from things. So, yeah, he's very aware and very smart. And you may not think so, but me seeing what I've seen and experienced what I've experienced here is, I think he's extremely smart about public relations, PR, optics. But anyway, yeah, guess that's that. I like my cup. I don't know how long you've been following me. I say to y'all. But if you've been following me for a while, like before January 6th, you might recognize this cup. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Like I said, I've never signed a contract. But my mom got me this cup, and my dad used to use it a lot. I was looking through the cabinets the other day, and I found it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was like in the back of all my coffee cups. Well, isn't this nice? A little bit of 10415 Ethan Allen here at 9107. And again, just logistically speaking, how things are set up, this whole neighborhood issue, drama, a factor in which why I got sent into University Health Hospital and then subsequently diagnosed with schizophrenia. Whether that's marijuana induced is, I was told it's marijuana induced. My mom wasn't told it was marijuana induced. But she still doesn't want marijuana in the house because it's illegal. She said that, I think, what? Yeah, after October 2021. Okay. That's new. Anyway. Yeah, political party affiliation, politics. I guess that's it. I guess that's all I have for y'all today. Y'all have a good one. Happy Friday. Another day, another dollar. Like I keep repeating, I am ready at a moment's notice. However, I am mentally preparing myself for being here on Thanksgiving and being here on Christmas. It's awful. May I repeat, this is a bad situation. Okay? But yeah, ready at a moment's notice, but mentally preparing myself for the worst. Anyway, y'all have a good one. Happy Friday. Happy weekend. I hope you had a good week. Yeah. Guess I'll talk to y'all later.